Hi, Susan for SLC Aquatics coming to you with part 1 and 2 of how to ship live fish. I know everybody's been excited about this series, and I found an awesome article on the internet, and now I'm going to share it with you and even share you some of the ways that I ship fish. Come along. Well, let's dive into that article a little bit. If you'll go with me, follow me to the website is the fish site. It's a fact sheet by the Southern Regional Agricultural Center, the SRAC, and it gives this information on shipping fish in boxes. So to get started, aquaculture often requires transporting the live animals from one place to another. A large shipment of the same type of fish can be delivered using a hauling tank and a truck if the distance is just too great. But for long distances, when the shipment's not large enough to justify a truck with hauling tanks, shipping fish in boxes is a feasible and more economical alternative. For international shipments, air freight in boxes is the only true option. The ornamental fish trade has a long and successful history in using air freight. And we know a lot of times Corey and different ones will talk about, I'm going to the airport to pick up my shipment. So that's large quantities of livestock shipped through air freight. Many factors are involved in successfully preparing and packaging and even shipping your fish in boxes. And it's important to keep in mind that once the bags and the boxes are sealed, there's absolutely nothing else that you can do to control their environment. Stress issues, ammonia levels, pH drops, etc. like that can happen in fish bags. So we want to talk about limiting the environmental factors, ammonia in the bag, drop in pH, and what did I say, temperature control, etc. Stress that the fish will go through. Always start with a good quality water. Some people debate this. Some people want to say, well, use the water that they came out of. And sometimes I use the water they came out of and half of their original water and half of some new, fresh, dechlorinated water with stress coat in it. Here I'm showing you how much water I put in the dip and pour from the original aquarium. I got some regular water out of the tap. I'm getting ready to add some stress coat to it to dechlorinate it. Shake it up and just put a few drops into the fresh water. It only takes a little. Take the box that you're going to ship it in and look at this measurement. Stand the box up on end because the bag will lay lengthwise in the box. So I'm comparing oxygen to water level. Water's at the bottom, oxygen at the top. 2/3 oxygen, 1/3 water. Going to pour a little bit of their original tank water into the bag. Because the tank needed a water change, I didn't want to use a lot of it because it could have high ammonia and high nitrates in it. So I'm going to take some of the new water that I put some dechlorinator in, and I'm adding it to the bag. I'm going to see if it's enough water here in a minute. laying it sideways, checking if it's 1/3 of the bag, and I'm going to put a little bit more in. Netting out the fish. And however, as soon as the boxes are sealed, many key water quality parameters will begin to change. Your temperature can go up or down. Your pH typically will fall. Oxygen will be consumed or depleted, and especially for short periods. They do not handle rapid changes well. Water quality parameters can reach critical levels if not managed properly. The goal is to prevent these parameters from changing, or at the least manage them to where they're gradual changes or none at all. First of all would be temperature. Fish are cold-blooded animals, and so they respond and regulate their body temperature by their environment. So if water temperatures deviate from the optimum range, the fish can be stressed, and if it deviates beyond their tolerance levels, they can die. Second, fish metabolism goes up as temperature increases, and the fish's metabolism drops as the temperature decreases. Makes sense, right? If metabolism increases, many of the other limiting environmental factors will deteriorate more quickly. So if a fish's metabolism is speeding up because the temperature is getting warm, what are they going to do? They're going to defecate more in the water that's in the bag, and so that's going to cause ammonia levels to spike, correct? And that's going to also cause the pH to fall, and it's also, if their metabolism is speeded up, what are they going to do? They're going to consume more oxygen a lot quicker. So we need to consider these three important environmental issues. So we want to maintain the temperature as much as possible. If possible, fish should be shipped in their lowest optimal temperature to slow their metabolism and decrease the rate at which other environmental factors deteriorate inside that box. Dissolved oxygen is number 2. Dissolved oxygen is often the most important limiting factor in shipping fish. The only source of dissolved oxygen during shipment is the diffusion of oxygen from the air overlying the water that's in the bag. And it is essential to maximize the amount of oxygen available during shipment. So the main ways to achieve this is to reduce the biomass of fish in the bag, which means don't put 25 fish in a very small 4 by 12 bag. That's just too much biomass. So you want to diminish the biomass, and that allows what oxygen level is in the bag. And you also want to maybe decrease the water some and have more oxygen space and less water. Decreasing the length of the time of shipment also. Most of us use priority boxes, which is a 2 to 3 day shipment, unless you express that shipment to overnight, or which would require maybe air freight, to take care of that, to overnight it. Depends on the distance that it's traveling. Decreasing the length of the shipment also decreases the metabolism that the fish will be using to keep the water temperature at the lower level for the given species. Of course, you don't want to go really, really cold for a tropical fish. You're going to stress it out. It might not even survive the trip. If you enjoyed part 1 of how to ship fish, I included temperature and oxygen. Look forward to part 2. See you then.